I think the phrase, why does that matter, was very concerning to me, as it's like, who else has he said that to?
Like, it wasn't until my boyfriend started walking around with me in the high streets and that he realised how often women get harassed in public.
In 2020, Lincoln was recorded as having one of the highest crime rates in the UK. This can seem shocking at first, but it will most likely not come as a surprise to most living in the city. This is due to the fact we've seen an exponential rise in one type of crime, sexual harassment. In a recent survey, almost 100% of respondents said that they had been a victim of sexual harassment. 37.5% of respondents said that they experienced this being students immersed in uni culture, like going out to clubs, living in halls, etc. Meanwhile, 43.75% said that they had experienced it elsewhere, like from locals and out on the streets. These results show that sexual harassment is an issue to be taken seriously, and that it can happen anywhere. In response to the issue at hand, multiple social media accounts have been made to spread awareness. For example, @LinksAnonymous on Instagram and Lincoln Girl Gang on Facebook. There was even a petition started in late August to keep the streetlights on all night to make people feel safer, which has now gathered over 2,000 signatures. In this documentary, we will be exploring the issue further by speaking to students and the women's officer at the University of Lincoln for their perspective on the matter.
So I started following the Lincoln Anonymous page pretty early on in its progression, as it was something that I saw kind of my other friends were following. And the page itself, I think it's really nice for survivors to be able to come together and share their stories.
Obviously, it can seem really daunting. Obviously, if you're a girl and you're moving into the area and you follow one of these pages, it can kind of put you off a bit and make you a bit worried, I guess. But I don't know, I'm in favour of them because I think it raises awareness. I feel like whenever women talk about getting harassed or like beeped out in cars, I feel like men don't take it seriously. But I feel like pages like that, it makes them be like, whoa, this actually happened and it's not on a small scale.
I lived in a flat full of girls, and it was always that one of them had to ask me to walk to the corner shop with them. The shop's like 2 minutes away, and it's because there are men on car home that just scream at women as they walk down the street for no good reason.
At uni, there's kind of like this lad culture, but I feel like guys are always like, oh, well, it's not me. Like, I'm not the problem. It's not my mates. Like, it wasn't until my boyfriend started walking around with me in the high streets and that he realised how often women get harassed in public and how often these things kind of happen.
Like, I went to the club, I think I went to Home, just with two of my female flatmates. They were drunker than I was because I'm not a very big drinker. The friend of my friend asked me which one I was shagging tonight. And I was like, well, neither, because obviously I'm speaking to you when I'm sober, and those two are falling around the club. I was carrying one of them out. He's like, why does that matter? And I think the phrase, why does that matter, was very concerning to me.
Lincoln has twice the national average, over double the national average for sex crimes. And it's a horrible statistic. Like, it's horrific. And I read it because there was an article, there's a petition going around recently about turning the high street lights on all the time in order to reduce this.
I didn't know that the lights weren't always on in Lincoln. You would have thought the lampposts, they should be on all night, because the amount of students that will walk through town at night with all the clubs being on the high street, and obviously with sites such as the Tab picking up on Lincoln Anonymous and being able to share their Instagram page. The help that they brought to that poll was very impactful. I think it'd be good for the university to be able to educate people, something that's visible there, where they're saying, we need to combat sexual harassment, this is what it is. I think there's a lot of beating around the bush with what sexual harassment is.
I think if guys hear about it more, if people hear about it more, they'll be more willing to call out their friends on it. And I think that would massively help the situation become reduced to what it is already.
I'm Millie, and I'm the Women's Officer at the Lincoln Students' Union, which basically means that I represent all of the women at the university through campaigns and to create change. The groups are amazing. Like I've seen like definitely a massive change in the way that people talk about things like sexual assault and sexual harassment and stalking and all sorts of things. Is empowering people who've gone through things like that, and so they have like a space that they can now use to just get their feelings out, tell people when they want to tell people, and they can do it in a way that feels good to them. As like a volunteer officer, I would say I would encourage people to use the university sexual assault reporting system online, which you can find through the Student Services website. But obviously those pages and stuff, if that's what you want to do, it's fantastic. It's a great way to raise awareness for sure.
If you or anyone you know has been affected by sexual harassment, you can go to these websites or you can call these numbers.